Today, I want to open the door to a story that, although it may seem everyday, can profoundly transform your way of experiencing intimacy. It will be especially revealing for those seeking to better understand male health and pleasure in maturity, because while the female body clearly expresses what it feels, many men fail to decipher these signals. And this becomes even more evident when it comes to oral stimulation. Do you want to offer genuine pleasure to a woman? Do you still think that licking or sucking is enough? The truth is that, for many, this gesture can be more uncomfortable than pleasurable. The reason? Most men do not know the correct way to touch such a delicate area. Here begins an essential guide for those who truly want to make a difference. Let's discover how to use the mouth in female intimacy in a way that is rarely taught. We will go straight to the core of pleasure. Understanding it means finding a decisive point capable of unleashing an intense sensation, like an unstoppable avalanche. And the surprising thing is that it is not where most assume. It is not exactly on the clitoris. Many men insist on licking or sucking repeatedly, convinced that this is enough, when in reality they can cause discomfort or even pain instead of pleasure. However, many women remain silent, prefer not to say anything, and simply tolerate it. Even today, thousands of men stumble upon this same mistake. But those who understand what is revealed here will manage to stand out. Do you want to know why? Because I will precisely show which area the nerve endings respond most strongly to oral contact and how to stimulate it correctly. There are 3 decisive factors that you cannot ignore: the orientation of each tongue movement, the exact pressure applied during contact, and how that point responds to the stimulus. If you understand this well, you will be able to lead a woman to fully surrender to pleasure. If you previously thought that licking was enough, it's time to reconsider. A single technique applied with mastery can forever change your intimacy and that of your partner. From this moment on, you will discover a way to stimulate the female area like never before imagined. This is the true secret. Let's get straight to the point. I have accompanied many couples on this journey, and there is one thing I am absolutely clear about. Oral sex can become an immense source of pleasure, but it is also one of the practices where most mistakes are made. I want to tell you a specific case. It is about Emily, a 62-year-old woman who for a long time lived in silence with an inner frustration. Her husband tried to give her pleasure with his mouth, but she looked away without saying a word. The cause? He used to rub her clitoris with his teeth or apply too much suction, which, instead of arousing her, completely reduced her sensitivity. So the big question arises: what is the true zone of the female genitals that awakens genuine pleasure? The answer is not limited to the external clitoris. The decisive point is in the soft tissue surrounding it, especially in the close connection to the posterior horn of the vagina. That is the real threshold. In that area, incredibly sensitive nerve branches are concentrated. When that region is stimulated properly, it can trigger such a powerful reaction that the entire pelvis responds with an involuntary reflex. The problem is that many men act abruptly, using the tip of the tongue directly or applying excessive suction. This sudden contact causes the female body to tense up instead of opening up to pleasure. The key is not strength but rhythm. The tongue needs to move gently, advancing and retreating with delicate pressure. Another crucial element is breathing. It should flow freely, without holding the air. At that moment, the female body begins to synchronize with that movement and releases. It is as if a secret door opens to deep pleasure, a warmth rising from the most intimate. Many times, women do not express it in words, but it is clearly noticeable when they are experiencing it. It is there where breathing makes all the difference in intensity, where subtlety overcomes strength, and where it is not just about technique, but about having enough sensitivity to read each reaction of her body. It is not solely an intimate skill. It is a form of healing, an inner awakening. And from now on, I want us to delve deeper into this knowledge with the clarity that few people explain. Because many men believe they know how to give oral pleasure, but almost all go straight to the clitoris, as if that were the only way. That, in reality, is like wanting to start a story from the end. If what you want is to awaken deep emotions, you need to go through the beginning step by step, like someone ascending a staircase from the ground floor. The first step, a gentle kiss on the outer part of the labia majora. Perhaps this first zone is not the most intense, but it is deeply receptive and plays a decisive role, releasing emotional tension. Approach calmly, using the lips, not the tongue, as if whispering a "I love you" with the body. Pay attention to her breathing. If you notice a change, it is an unmistakable sign that you are moving in the right direction. Second step, the intermediate zone, known as Zone I, located between the lips and the entrance of the vagina. This area is filled with highly sensitive nerve endings, so if you apply the tongue too forcefully or quickly, you could cause discomfort or even pain. Instead of using the tip, use the side of the tongue, slowly exploring that space with a broader surface. At this moment, rhythm matters more than the movement itself. Avoid any hasty or repetitive gestures. And if you perceive that the woman's pelvis gently rises, it is a confirmation that you are on the right path. Third step, right at the sides of the clitoris, on both lateral edges. It is not about the center, but about the surrounding areas. There are nerves branching out there that have a direct link to lubrication production. When these areas receive gentle and rhythmic stimulation, many women involuntarily arch their backs. Although it is commonly believed that the center of the clitoris is the most sensitive point, more than 70% respond more intensely to the constant stimulation of the sides than to direct contact in the center. Fourth stage, controlled, warm breathing. Instead of just sucking, the ideal is to inhale slowly and exhale gently, letting out warm air. This type of breathing not only accompanies the stimulation, but also enhances it and can be the beginning of climax. The female body does not react only to contact, it also responds to temperature. When the tongue and breathing synchronize in perfect harmony, the pelvic muscles contract reflexively, releasing the first wave of pleasure. Final stage, the importance of stopping. One of the most common mistakes is to continue without pause. But when you make a brief stop, the nervous system interprets that the stimulus has ended and, just then, prepares to receive an even more intense wave. If at that moment you resume slowly and delicately, a deep and explosive pleasure can arise, like an unstoppable waterfall. In conclusion, everything is based on three essential pillars: the sequence, the cadence, and the timely pause. It is not just another simple technique, but a conscious, attentive, and respectful way to connect with a woman's body. Only those who truly understand these three elements can lead her toward a full experience of pleasure. You might now wonder, is it possible to put this into practice? To answer that doubt, I want to show you real examples of couples who have experienced this process over time. They are not just simple suggestions, they are proven methods in real life. Michael, 48 years old, had been sharing his life with his wife for over 2 decades. Love remained intact, but the physical connection was no longer the same. One day, almost without expecting it, she softly said to him, "Love, you don't need to do that." At that moment, Michael stopped. He believed he was acting in the best way, but he realized that perhaps his approach was not the right one. So he decided to completely transform the way he connected. Instead of directly stimulating the clitoris with suction, he began to kiss slowly from the lower part of the abdomen, descending calmly. Then he applied gentle pressure on the labia majora with the side of his tongue, maintaining a slow rhythm. And the unexpected happened. His wife took him firmly by the shoulder, opened her mouth without making a sound, while her whole body began to tremble. That night, Michael said excitedly, "It was as if we had made love for the first time." For years, he thought he was giving his all in every oral encounter, but whenever he tried, she tensed up. He resorted to quick tongue movements and deep penetrations, but the result was always the same: absolute silence. Until one day, he decided to change. Instead of directly touching the clitoris with his tongue, he began to gently surround it, without rush. He applied light pressure with his lips and accompanied the moment with a warm, controlled exhalation. It was then that his wife opened her legs and her thighs started to tremble. At that moment, Michael understood something essential. What truly awakens female sensitivity is not the strength of the stimulus, but calmness, patience, and a connected breath. James, 54 years old, used to ask himself with a certain resignation, what kind of sexual life could remain at this age? But everything changed when his wife's skin became much more sensitive after menopause and she started avoiding any physical contact. So he decided to completely rethink his approach. For the first time, he put aside the idea of sex as a goal and focused all his attention on the art of caressing. He did not use his tongue to stimulate directly. Instead, he slowly pressed his lips against the inner part of her thighs and the pubic area with absolute delicacy. In an instant, he barely touched her clitoris with his tongue, gently, and stayed still for 5 seconds. It was then, in that brief but profound moment, that his wife burst into tears. "I haven't felt like this in years," she confessed through tears. There is something in common between these two men, and it is vital. They did not seek to do it with more intensity, but with more patience and authenticity. They did not follow rushed formulas, but learned to read every signal from the female body. They did not rely solely on stimulation, but on the ability to perceive with sensitivity. It was not about applying a mechanical technique, but about letting themselves be carried by a natural and connected rhythm. And, above all, they had an attentive and loving gaze to interpret every reaction of the female body. You, who are listening to these words right now, can also become that man who dares to reconnect with his body and his heart. It is not youth that opens the door, but authentic and deep sensitivity. Let's review what has been learned so far. When you caress with your mouth, the female body does not surrender because of the strength of the stimulus, but because of patience and surrender. Many men lick or suck expecting an immediate response, but true pleasure arises from slowness, gentle rhythm, and genuine connection. The first thing you need to adjust is the rhythm. Never start in a hurry. When you approach with your mouth, let your lips be the first to make contact, not the tongue, and let your breathing guide everything else. A breath of warm air, without becoming hot, delicately activates the woman's nervous system. The next step is the journey. Do not go immediately to the clitoris. Follow this order: the inner part of the thighs, the outer labia majora, the contour of the minor lips, and finally, the lateral sides of the clitoris. And there is one detail you must not forget: knowing when to pause. Do not continue just because the moment is pleasurable. It is precisely when you stop that the female body prepares to receive a new wave of pleasure, even more intense. A simple and powerful recommendation: apply gentle pressure with the lips and hold it. Slide the tongue with a steady rhythm. Maintain a calm and even breathing. And something essential: leave the center of the clitoris for the end, and only once. If you put these 4 keys into practice, even after 60, you can become that man a woman keeps in her memory forever. Your intimate life does not end with the passing of years. It is natural to feel that your body no longer responds the same as before, but the love for that person you chose is more solid, deeper, and truer than any passing youth. Many men wonder, does it make sense to learn something new at this age? The answer is clear: yes, always. You can always start again. A day like today, when you discover a new way to connect, can become a decisive turning point in your personal story. Women are transparent. And when you manage to open your body and your heart at the same time, even if only once, something transforms. The connection is reborn and shared desire is reignited. It doesn't matter if it's in an intimate encounter, a caress, or the simple touch of fingers. If you are here, it's because deep down you feel the same, because you're someone who loves sincerely. Try it tonight with the person you chose. Do it calmly. Observe every detail of their expression, the slight tremor of their body, the warmth in their hands. She won't need to say a word. Her body will confirm it. He truly understands me. I wish you a full, healthy life filled with genuine connection. Thank you for accompanying this journey.